There's a reason why I vape in places like my house, my car, vape shops, and not public indoor places like restaurants, coffee shops, the bar, the grocery store, etc. And that's because, in my experiences, most people, the non-vapers, are intimidated by the unknown and may be put off when something is forced on them. But it's my vape! I could do whatever the hell I want! It's a free country! Let me give you an example. About a year and a half ago, I'm sitting with my buddy up at the coffee shop. He's got his anise-based juice in his tank, vaping away, chucking the vapor. Meanwhile, a good friend of mine, Julie, she's the barista at this coffee shop, she starts to have an allergic reaction and her throat starts to swell up. Not good. Long story short, she was allergic to anise oil, which so happens was in my buddy's tank that he was vaping on. But there's no such thing as secondhand vapor. Not the case. When you vape in close quarters, it has been my experience that you can get a nicotine buzz or even experience an allergic reaction to someone else's vapor. Another example for you. I'm at my buddy's. We're sitting there vaping, playing cards for a couple hours. I happen to vape a very low nic. Most of the time, I vape between 2 milligram and 6 milligrams. My buddies that were with me, there was 4 or 5 of us, okay? Those guys were vaping between 12 and 24. So about 30 to 45 minutes goes by. We're all just chain vaping away. Oh, enjoying the life. Well, I started to get a major buzz. I mean, I wasn't complaining, but I had to step outside for some fresh air, okay? Wasn't used to that much nicotine, okay? But case in point, we were all vapors in an environment for vaping. It was at my buddy's place, a private location. That's all gravy. But can you imagine if we had all been vaping, 4 or 5 of us, in a public place, indoors? The question I have for you guys is, would you want to expose non-vapors and children to nicotine from your e-cig? Alright, so let's backtrack a year and a half ago. I loved my movies, still do love my movies. I go to the theater probably every week just to escape, go recharge. That's like my therapy, okay? Well, a year and a half ago, I was vaping in a theater with a bunch of people. Sold out crowd. Just sitting there, puffing away, puffing away. Hell, I didn't give a flying fart. But now I do. And I realized how selfish that was of me to think that way. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, love going to the movie theater. And I'll tell you what, I find that with these movie theaters nowadays, not many people go to them. Everybody's bootlegging stuff off the internet. But for me, like I said, it's a place to re-energize. And when I go, I always carry my vape with me. And if there's nobody in the theater, I'll stealth vape. I'll vape a little bit. But if there's a big crowd, I'm not going to force that upon the audience. Now my approach to vaping in public outside. For me, I think it is totally cool. I know everybody's different, but if I'm outside, let's say I'm on the main street, I'll keep it discreet just because honestly, I don't like to attract that much attention. Well, then how do you expect me to spread the word about vaping? So what I do, I vape, I just blow it straight up or I blow it straight down. I actually find that more people come up to me and ask me questions about it than 2 to 3 years ago when I was just blowing straight clouds for everybody to see miles away. Usually when I'm out and about, I carry a small tank like an EVOD or like a Kanger T3. I want something light. I've got like a little lanyard I put, sits in my shirt, pull it out, take a hit, boom, done. People see that and they're like, hey, that's not a cigarette. What's up with that? Plus, if you're outside and you're vaping, you're not gonna have to worry about other non-vapors getting that secondhand nicotine. The only thing that I've changed when vaping outdoors, I try to keep it to where I don't blow the vapor in other people's face. I find that sometimes when I'm walking on the sidewalk and there's a group of cigarette smokers, they don't even care. They're just sitting there smoking. A large group of people will walk right by them and they're just blowing that cigarette smoke right in their face. I find that really annoying and that's really disrespectful. And that leads me to say, as vapors, we should really respect the people that aren't vapors or aren't cigarette smokers or aren't tobacco users. We should respect them and respect their space, whether we're indoors or outdoors. And we can respect their space doing what we do outdoors just by being more aware of where we're blowing the vapor. And that's how I've changed my approach outdoors. But vaping and smoking are totally different, right? Right. Vaping is totally different than smoking. The only thing the two have in common is the nicotine. Vaping has only a handful of ingredients, while tobacco smoke has thousands of chemicals. Big difference, to say the least. And I can tell you right now, vaping in public, I converted well over 1,000 people. Just vaping outside, locally. Another great thing, I find that more and more vape shops are popping up all over the country, everywhere. Hell, I've got like 5 vape shops within a 10-mile radius of where I live right now. And I mean, that's growing every day. That's a great thing. That could be the vapor's escape right there. That could be the place that a vapor can go sit publicly indoors and vape. Booyah! Right on! Vape shops aren't only for other vapors to go mingle with other vapors, but they allow other cigarette smokers looking to make the switch over to vaping to go into a local shop, get the information that they need to get their first starter kit to make the switch. That is such a great resource to have. Vape shops popping up everywhere is the best thing since sliced bread. IMO. Surprisingly, there's a lot of vapors out there. I find the older crowd that don't want to be dependent on the vape shops online to buy their equipment, to get their juice. Instead, they feel more comfortable having a shop 5-10 miles down the road that they could drive up to, walk in, grab what they need to get, and know that they can come back tomorrow and it's still going to be available. It's convenient for them. So that leads me to my final thoughts on vaping e-cigarettes in public. I think as vapors, well, at least for me, I don't want to impose my habit or hobby on people who don't vape or use tobacco products. I think with the internet, I mean Facebook groups, forums, there's so much information out there, so many chat rooms that you can connect with other vapors all across the world. And now with these vape shops opening up all over the country, it not only makes it easier for the smokers to find the vapors, but it also enables those vapors that have already converted to hang out in places with other vapors, build great morale, have great camaraderie while doing something that we all love to do, and that's to vape. And I truly believe in my heart, with this type of mindset, that the vapors will have a good reputation with the public and will continue to spread the word about this safer alternative to smoking. This is RipTrippers, and remember, smoking is dead, vaping is the future, and the future's now.